It's time for another review. In this review, I'm going to be giving you the review of the Neewer Professional Condenser Microphone Kit. This kit comes with a pop screen and army thingy that holds the mic, the microphone, and one microphone to, we don't have it here, must be still in the box, but it microphone jack here to the 3.5mm microphone jack that goes into the computer. So actually, I just remembered where it is. It's actually still plugged into the computer. I just leave it there because it's plugged into the back of the computer, and I don't want to unplug it and mess with the cord every time, so I just leave it draped over. But I also, which doesn't come with this, purchased the phantom power supply from Neewer, which is this. It's the MW100, and this microphone is the MW700. If I missed that in the first part. Without this right here, you'll get no sound out of the condenser microphone. It requires a phantom, what they call a phantom power supply, which is just a power supply that sends, I believe it's 12 volts DC to the microphone to power it. It's either 12 volts or 5 volts. Anyway, neither here nor there. But you need one of these, and you don't have to buy this particular brand, but you can get this one to go with the same brand mic. Matter of fact, I think they sell this whole thing in one kit. I didn't purchase the kit, I just purchased them separately. I think it was actually a little bit cheaper, I believe, than if I were to have purchased the whole kit. So let me go ahead and set this whole system up, and we'll get to testing the sound on it. Now right now the microphone sound is coming from a cheap little directional microphone that I purchased when I purchased the camera. But we're going to hook this one up and see how the sound sounds, or how the sound comes through on the camera's recording system, and then I will do the recording on the computer, and you can tell if there's any difference or not. Now I don't have a really fine ear for hearing the sounds. There are some people out there that I know they can tell if it's not compressed properly, your highs are too highs, your lows are too lows. I don't have that ear. What I can tell is if it's somewhat clear or there's background noise, I can sometimes hear that. As a matter of fact, when I'm doing my voice editing using the Audacity software, I can sometimes hear the background noise from the wind blowing through the window, the blinds moving, or just the sound of the fans on the computer or the overhead fan in the room here. But with that being said, let's go to getting this thing set up and testing some sound recording on it. The power supply requires a wall wart that comes with the power supply, and you just have to plug it into your normal outlet and then run your little 6mm jack up to the back side of the power supply. So let's go over, take the camera over. You see my dirty laundry, and we'll just go ahead and plug that into the power supply. Now the nearest outlet that I have is, let me read it back to the camera. The nearest outlet that I have is far away from the power, or from the desk where the computer is, so that's how I have to run it. I usually just set it up here on the printer. And I told you about the power cable that I have the power cable with the microphone cable that goes to the computer. I keep it set up all the time, and it just wraps around there. That way I don't have to keep messing with it, getting in and out. And then that goes into the output side. This is the output side here. This is the input side. Now let's see if I can get a closer look there for you. So we got the female output side and then the male input side, if that's actually how the terminology on these. So it just clicks into there. Now it does have a power button on here. The power isn't turned on at the moment. When the power is turned on, it turns blue like that. Turn it off, and then once it puts all its power out, the blue light gets dimmer and goes out. So, okay, so the next thing is setting up the whole microphone system is putting this thing together. And it comes with a base. I just leave the base attached to the back of the desk, and then this little pull rod here slides into the base. Now there is a thumb screw, you can tighten it down, but when you do that you can't rotate or move the base. But since I like it to rotate and move it, I will put it in. I don't screw that in, I just leave it resting in there, which is perfectly fine. I don't get any noise or movement from it. And let me take the camera off and I will show you where that base is. So, base is located right behind here. Move my Alf coffee mug. If you're from the 80s, you probably remember Alf. So, and then let me go ahead and see what I'm doing here. Okay, so that's better. Now I can see what I'm doing. And hopefully still recording. So I'm going to go ahead and put trying to do this one-handed, just really isn't that easy. Put it in the base like that and extend it out, and it's all good to go in there. So, back it all out here. So that's the system there, and you have your mic holder here and your pop screen. And I don't know if you really need the pop screen if you're using the foam cushion it comes with, but I have them both on there and it seems to work fine for me. So let me go ahead and put the camera back up on the tripod. Okay, so the microphone, there's a couple ways you can do this. Let me bring the camera in a little bit closer. Now I don't know what the correct way is. There's a couple ways you can mount the microphone in here. Now there are two controls for the microphone and the angle it sits. One of them is right here, which controls the up. There's not much movement there, but you can control the up and down of how it sits. I leave it just almost parallel as it comes off of the upper arm support. And then there's also this other on this piece here, which actually does come off, to where you can angle the microphone stand up and down like so. So I usually just leave it like that. And then to insert the microphone, I don't know which way is the correct way, so I'm sure someone down in YouTube land will beat me up for this, but I usually put it in through the top. You just squeeze these two, there's two little tabs here. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit for you. Not on my ugly face. Okay, so there's two tabs, one tab here and then the other tab is right here, and then you just drop the microphone in. And I usually put I think you have to do this because it's a directional microphone. You put the Neewer the logo on the forward facing you and just slide it in and release the clamps, and then it'll hold the microphone in there. And then for the microphone wire cable, now this cable right here, let me back out again, other way, Greg. Okay, so this cable right here came with the power supply. So when you order the power supply as the kit, you get this cable, which goes from the microphone to the power supply, and then when you order the microphone kit, you get the cable that goes from the microphone to a 3.5 inch or 3.5 millimeter jack for the back of your PC or phone or whatever you're going to be connecting it to. I'm just looking at how much time I have left on the battery. I'm going to have to switch the battery out. Okay, so you just take this end of it, and I mean it's pretty simple. I mean they only go in one way. These cables are pretty much self-explanatory, but you just clip that in there and you'll hear it lock in, and then you take your other one and you go over to your power supply and you connect that into the input side of the power supply, and that's that. Now you just turn on your power and your mic is all set and ready to go. One other thing I like to do, actually I think I'm going to have to tilt the mic up a little bit, is locate the pop screen. And once again, I am not an expert, so I don't know how to adjust this properly, but I just put the pop screen in front there. Now let me go ahead and connect. I'll have to unplug it from the back of the computer. I'll disconnect this, the cable going to the computer, plug it in the camera. I've never done this before, so let's see how it works. Okay, now I've got the microphone set up to record on the camera. This is the sound that comes through on the camera with the microphone hooked up to it. And I'll be honest with you, I can't hear it right now because it's filming, but we'll go ahead and analyze it on the computer. And then I will also record my voice on the computer through the software that I use for recording, which is Audacity. Okay, so I'm recording on the camera now, and we're going to go to the computer, and we're going to see how the sound actually, you'll be able to hear me recording the sound through the microphone on the computer. Got to turn on my screen capture software. And now I'm going on the screen capture software. So I'm going to open Audacity, which is a nice free piece of software you can use to record sound. Now the first thing I'm going to have to do, because I have it set for recording on speakers, I want to turn that off to the high definition microphone. Now let's go ahead and give this a test, and I do have sound coming through there right now. Okay, so let me go ahead and stop that, get rid of that. I always like to test it to make sure the microphone is working first before I start recording the sound, because and I've done this before where I start recording sound and the microphone wasn't turned on, and I didn't know until I was almost done with the project. So, and it's that sneaking little power button on the back of the power supply there, or the phantom power supply. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the record button again. And this is a test of the Neewer NW700 microphone. Okay, so that is done. So I'll go ahead and stop that, and let's go ahead and go all the way back to the front and see how that sounds. I'm going to turn on my speakers. Hopefully I don't get too much feedback on this. Record button again. And this is a test of the Neewer NW700 microphone. Okay, so that is done. Okay, so that's the sound coming through the microphone on the computer. Now I did hear a lot of noise in the background, but with Audacity I can very easily take care of that by going back. And now I didn't do it properly here, but one of the things you can do for this is that you can usually I let about 5 to 6 seconds of recording with no sound, get a nice clean slate, and then you can go into Audacity, and there's lots of videos about how to use Audacity, so I'm not going to go too in depth on that, but you can go into effects and you can use the noise reduction and then get noise profile, and it's going to get a whole noise profile-less recording. And then what you can do is you do Control A, and it highlights the whole thing, and you go back into effects. Now you can do the repeat noise reduction, but I like to see things happening, so I go down, click noise reduction, and then it's already got the noise profile, so you just hit OK, and it actually cleans it up quite a bit. So we'll go ahead and listen to it again. And this is a test of the Neewer
NW700 microphone.
Okay, now that sounded a lot clearer. There was the static and hiss in the background was removed, and it could be from several things. It could be from the fans in the computer, the ceiling fan that's on, or just ambient noise all around. But Audacity can remove that. Now there's other little tricks I do with Audacity when I do a sound recording to help with sound, to make my voice sound a little bit better, as bad as it is. So with that, there's a whole set of videos other people have done on Audacity on YouTube, so you can go to those and find out. But other than that, this is an inexpensive microphone for doing voice recording, either through a camera or on a computer for voiceover work or narration. Not a budget breaker, and it gives you okay sound. Now, like I said, I don't have the finest ear out there, so I'm not going to be able to tell you, oh yeah, you get this clarity, crystal clear 4K audio, if that even exists. I can't even tell 4K audio. That's how tone deaf I am. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. If you liked it, hit like. If you want to take a look at this product, I'll leave a link in the Amazon description below. Click on it, it'll take you right to it. Anyway, have a good day.